Hey everyone, welcome to Headset Abuse. This is the podcast for the 28th of May 2016. If you're watching us on YouTube or if you're listening to our audio archive, welcome. Ali Hay is out this week, so I am here hosting. I am Mark Gibson, and with me, as always, is Mr. Darren Fotheringham.
That was awkward as fuck.
It was. It's really weird after doing it for a while. I think I said that last time as well.
Yes, you did. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Darren. How's you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, not bad. How's your tooth stuff?
Well, that's got itself to a background tingly level, so, it's painful, but it's as painful as I'm always used to now, so it's kind of normal, I guess, which is weird.
Yeah, I had updates from Ali this week. Apparently, he was going to go in on Monday and just have it done under local,
No.
And it was just like, because he sent me a message asking, he was like, "Did you get it done under sedation?" I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? He's like, "Oh yeah, I kind of agreed to do that." I was like, "But I need to go back on Wednesday." He was like, Are you allowed to go by yourself?" Like, no. If you read the documentation, you have to have somebody with you.
So, yeah, that's why I might have some problems, because I'm going to have to try and arrange for that with no one here.
Yep, you're going to need to have someone there with you.
Yeah, I'm going to ask someone at work to do me a favor. Like, will you sit in a room while I get my head chopped open and give me a lift home?
It's fun. It's fun.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Yeah. So I'm assuming Ali is right now in the same level of fun that I was having.
Yes, I was going to say I'm surprised that Ali's not joining us after saying that he was definitely going to join us, at least to stick his head in. It's like, no. You don't want that.
I told him that wasn't going to happen. There was no way.
Yeah.
So anyway, Darren, how have you spent your last week?
I've not done anything particularly interesting. I reformatted my computer from Windows 10 to Windows 7 because fuck Windows 10. Windows 7 was being a little bitch. Took me too long to update it. I literally started going back to Windows 7 from the moment I posted the video, the audio file for the podcast last week for you to upload. Right. And it took me till Tuesday to finish getting all my updates done, because Windows 7 was being a little bitch and it was pulling too much cycles from my CPU for some reason, making everything go horribly slow, which meant I could not do what I wanted to do over the entire weekend, which was sit and play Elite Dangerous, because that has now become my thing, apparently.
Which is weird, given how you were talking about it last week.
It's still that. I'm still trying to figure out everything, but I'm still thinking of everything in terms of Eve, because that's the only other simulator of that type that I've played, and I'm still not entirely sure if I'm enjoying it or not. I think I've kind of got that World of Warcraft syndrome going on for me, where it's just that thing that I do.
Compared. Yep.
Yeah, it's just that thing that I do now. It's like, yeah, I'll just fly around the galaxy and I'll pick up some slaves and I'll drop them off. Yeah, because that's a thing, by the way. Like, there's a big slave trade going on in this thing.
Darren is heading it up.
I am very much a bad man. I smuggle all the time. It has necessitated me at getting good at flying through very small holes into stations to dock without getting my ship scanned, because if you get scanned, you get fined a lot of money and all your cargo taken off you.
Not surprising if you're carrying slaves.
Yeah. And then you also get fined by the guy who gave you the slaves because you lost his cargo. So it's necessitated me getting very good, very fast at docking my ship, which apparently is really difficult, but I think it's really easy. But apart from that, super lost.
Yeah?
Yeah. Confusing game. It took me 2.5 hours last night to figure out how to hand in a bounty that I had for a community goal that's going on. All you had to do was either kill people and hand in stuff, which I'm not a big combat person in this game yet, or source by whatever means, whether it's mine it up yourself or no, you can't mine this stuff up. It's buy water purifiers to take to a different station to help them with a problem that they've got going on. It took me 2.5 hours to figure out how to give that station those water purifiers. Turns out that it's not like any other mission in the game where normally you just go into your mission tab and say, have these. No, you have to sell them on their market and it counts as selling them to them. But yeah.
That's a bit weird.
There was no information anywhere on the internet that I could find that would explain that. So yeah, I spent the rest of my night just flying the same route back and forth, picking up lots of water purifiers and dropping them off. It's great.
Sounds like a raucous night.
Hey man, it's like say what you want, but I'm in the top 50% of the community right now for helping with this. Apparently.
All right.
Yeah.
How long were you doing that for then?
That was after my first delivery. I've done 3 more since then. I'm still in the top 50%. I've not moved up a bracket.
Okay.
There's like 6 brackets. I think there's F, where you have done nothing. E, where you have done something. Above that, there's the top 80%, I think. Then it's the top 50%, the top 30%, the top 20%, then the top 10 people. And I've not budged. Like, I'd done 1 delivery, was in the top 50%. I was like, yay, it's going to be really easy to get to the top 10. And I've done like 3 or 4 more runs and not moved. And the annoying thing is that every time that I've done another delivery, it's always been more. So I was like, I can strip something out of my ship in order to fit more stuff in. So I stripped my ship down to the absolute bare minimum. I no longer even have shields on my ship, so I could put in more cargo space. I stripped out my, but not my navigation system, but it was a related system to my navigation system, so I can still do the jumps I need to do, but I can't scan anything. So if I see something, go, oh, I wonder what it is, I can't scan to figure out where it is and what it is and stuff. So I'm like, nope, cargo space. So I can now drop off 60 tons of water purifiers in one go, and it doesn't do anything.
No, I wouldn't say it probably would. There's people playing that game a lot longer than you, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, like there are people, and there's one of the guys in work who plays it. He's the guy who's kind of got me into it. He recommended it, so I bought it. His ship is way bigger than mine because he's been playing the game for like the last year at least. And before I upgraded all my cargo space, the space that I had, in order to match one of the runs that he could do, I would have to have done 12 runs. Yeah. Yep. So there's going to be people like that. There's going to be like a guy who has like the biggest ship. He's stripped out everything. He's filled it with cargo space, and I'm going to need to run all fucking week in order just to match one of his runs. So yeah, that's a thing.
So are you enjoying it then, or has it just got its hooks into you? I don't quite understand.
It's got its hooks into me, and I think I am enjoying it, but it's really difficult to figure out new things. Like, there's lots of things it just throws at you. It's like Eve. Like, it just throws all this shit at you and doesn't necessarily explain how it works. Like I said, it took me nearly 3 hours to figure out how to hand in the community goal, which is something that goes on all the time, but I couldn't figure out any way to do it.
Isn't this your thing, though? Isn't this like the Dark Souls thing where you have to figure everything out?
Yeah, but if you play this game, it's got that many menus and sub-menus and objects, and it's... At least in Dark Souls, you're dealing with a singular plane and just some random numbers. Now I've got 3D, other people, NPCs, like 500 options, plus your oh my god, the options menu in this game just to set up the flying for your ship is ridiculous. It's really difficult to get into, but it's slowly but surely getting more figured out, and it's kind of fun.
It's either out or it's coming out on Xbox One, isn't it? I think
it's out on Xbox One, but yeah, I know that it was a thing for it.
I remember there's been some talk a while ago. It was one of those things that I didn't really pick up on. I'm not a big Eve guy in general, anyway, so I don't know how that would fare for me. But
I want to say 3rd of June, so it's about to come out.
Okay.
Yeah.
It might have been an early access then or something.
Yeah, probably was. It looks like the like Dangerous site is saying 3rd of June for Xbox. Originally slated as October the 6th, 2015. And now it looks like the 3rd of June this year. But yeah, it is a thing that is going to be coming along. I think it is in beta still, or was in beta until recently on the Xbox One, because I know there have been people. I was watching a video last night to do with the community goals to try and figure out how to do it, and it was one of the developers along with a guy who's apparently quite big in the community talking about community goals, and he was going on constantly about people bigging up the Xbox stuff, so I'm guessing there's some kind of thing around it. Although fuck playing that game on the Xbox, because playing with a controller is a pain in the ass, as I discovered.
Yeah. Where were you using to play?
I originally started playing keyboard and mouse. It is unplayable with a keyboard and mouse. Then I tried, after recommendation of one of my mates, I didn't think about hooking up my PlayStation 4 controller. The game became instantly way more playable, like super more control, but the number of options that there are in that game to do things, a controller doesn't offer that number of options.
Okay.
But I can, I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. At least 10 different ways to move your ship. Like there's only actually 4 axes of rotation, but you need to think of one direction, then the other direction. So like I can roll my ship left, but I can also roll my ship right. So that's instantly, the right thumbstick left and right. I can pitch my ship up and pitch my ship down. So that's right stick up and down. So that controls the main movements of your ship. But I can also do lateral thrusts. So instead of moving like that, you move like that. So that's your other thumbstick. Then there's also moving like that. Then there's also yaw, which is just moving like that. So you need at least 3 sticks to control all your movements. And as you only have 2 thumbsticks, well, even if you use 2 thumbsticks and the D-pad, but then you can alter the amount of power going towards your power systems. So you've got 3 main systems. You've got your system, which controls your shields, your engine, which controls your engine efficiency, and your weapon, which controls your weapon recharge rate. So traditionally, I imagine that'd be the D-pad, because those are the easiest way to switch. But if you switch your D-pad to be part of your control system, what do you now control your power distribution with? ABXY, baby. But then what do you, say, change your navigation with? Like there's just, I have, but anyway, I've switched to what's a HOTAS system, which is a hands-on throttle and shift.
Oh God, you actually bought a HOTAS?
Yeah! It's so much fun. It was only like 30 quid, so I was like, fuck it, I'll buy it. So yeah,
because some of those systems are really, really fucking expensive, like the HOTAS ones.
Yeah, I bought the cheapest of the cheap. It's like the lowest model that I could find that came with a stick to control on your right hand and a throttle shift for your left hand. Because you can buy them separately, but I found a combined unit. But the step up from the one that I bought was like 3 times the price. And that's just the next step up. And I was looking at other ones. There's like ones that are like 250 quid. And yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right for the prices that I heard for that sort of stuff.
Yeah, plus there's add-ons you can get for that stuff that add like tons more buttons and stuff. It's like, nah, I'll take the one that's 30 quid, that'll do. So I bought one of them, and it's a lot of fun playing with that. But even with all the buttons that gives you, because I've got my trigger, a secondary fire, a secondary next.
Hold on, Darren, I'm going to have to go and answer the door. If you can keep things going, I'll be 2 seconds.
Okay, I'll try and explain to people how this game works, because it's not awkward talking to yourself at all. I would say play the game. It is quite a lot of fun. It takes a lot of getting into, but it's entirely playable with a keyboard and a joystick. So pick it up. It's only I think 20 quid on Steam right now, and that's including the expansion. I don't believe you need the vanilla pack to play it. Yeah. I would like to tell you more, but it requires someone to talk to. A little bit awkward talking by yourself. Bounties in the game are quite fun. You get a lot of different missions going on. So there are delivery missions, there are missions to kill people, there's missions to find stuff, source different items. Mark's coming back. Yay!
Sorry, I'm back.
Hey, Mark. That wasn't awkward at all, trying to figure out what to say randomly by yourself.
This is what happens when no one's in and you have to go answer the door.
So yeah, you need to do editing on this podcast now, because you're cutting out that section of like,
Is that what happened?
Well, I started rambling, but I didn't say anything useful.
Thankfully, there wasn't that much of a pause there. I don't think it could have been a lot worse. But yeah, so anything else?
It's quite an enjoyable game.
Yeah.
Other than that, but during the time that I couldn't play because of PC doing stuff, I went back to playing Bloodborne. Yeah. I know, right? I was like,
What? Don't
go.
you have like Dark Souls 3 to play? Isn't that?
Well, I've completed the game. I have to do 2 or 3 more playthroughs to see the other endings. But I was feeling Bloodborne for some reason. Like someone said something. I think it was the guys that I usually played Destiny and Division with. One of them started talking about Bloodborne because he got it and he just won't shut up about it because it's great. And it's like, oh, I haven't played Bloodborne in ages. So yeah, I decided to pick up Bloodborne again and play that. That was quite fun.
Did you hadn't finished Bloodborne, had you?
I
No,
have.
had you? No, have you? Yeah, you had. So what? Are you just going through New Game Plus then, or are you?
No, I started the new character to see what alternative ways you can go through the game because there is a main path that you can follow, but there are lots of side paths you can do before you get on the critical path. And I think I more followed the critical path in my first playthrough, and I want to see how things would change because after you get to a certain point in the game, the cycle of the time of day changes, and that changes some things that happens in the game. So I wanted to see what would happen before that change. So I went straight for that critical path and then broke off. So I only seen it in a certain cycle. I was going to see.
I didn't even know there was a day-night cycle. I thought it was just all night from what I'd seen.
But it does look like night. But after you kill certain bosses, if you watch the skybox, things change.
Okay.
So there's a boss called Vicar Amelia, who's a giant white wolf essentially, and once you kill her, the game does its first cycle from nightish to nighttime. And after you kill another boss, I think is Rom, the vacuous spider, it does another shift. No, it can't be him. He's not critical path. He's a side path. I don't know which boss it is then. But there's another boss you kill, and then it changes to its final phase where, like, oh, that skybox is cool looking, but it looks really bad. It's super ominous. There's all this weird shit everywhere. What's going on? You get a PS4 mark.
It's on. I'm not going to pick up a PS4, but I'll pick up a PS4.5K or whatever the hell that they're going to call it. Or
But we'll find out in, what is it, a week? Or is it 2 weeks before E3?
2 weeks, I want to say.
Okay. Yeah.
Because, yeah, we'll have like this podcast and then things will literally kick off on the Sunday night with Bethesda. So
14th to the 16th. So that's what? 2.5 weeks. That's Tuesday the 14th to Thursday the 16th.
yeah, that's when the show is.
Yeah.
The press conferences will be
around that.
13th, 14th. And like EA and Bethesda are on the Sunday. So.
Yeah, we'll leave that for now because so much news right there.
Yep.
So much talking about that. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I've been playing. Like tons of Elite Dangerous, way more than I probably should. I went from having that game for like 2 months or something, but never playing it. I think I've now got like 60 hours logged in it.
Jeez, okay.
Yeah, I played that game a lot, try to figure it out. And I don't know, man. It ticks the boxes. It ticks my World of Warcraft itch without having to log into World of Warcraft. Just fuck those guys.
You seen the reviews for the movie?
I have avoided them, but one did appear on my Facebook feed saying that it was crap.
It's
the
pretty tepid reviews.
The title that I seen was the World of Warcraft movie's crap, and then it was kind of like the first line of the next paragraph, which is like, well, it's not crap, but like all video game movies, it takes itself too seriously. And yes, World of Warcraft is a game that is known for lots of humor, as is Warcraft in general. But this movie is, while based on some stuff to do with the games, it's more based on the books, and the books take themselves quite seriously. So it's understandable when you relate to the source material. Like if I was to grab, in fact, I have it right here, like one of these books, like that book there, takes itself way too seriously. And all of them do. Like
randomly pluck a Warcraft book out of the air. That's.
I have them all sitting right there. Like this here, this is all Warcraft books. So yeah, the books take themselves very seriously. Like, there's very little humor apart from when like characters have that little bit of joviality, as people do. But there's no kind of overarching, let's have a laugh. It's more kind of like menacing. war, stuff like that. So
You got to wonder if a lot of the humor would work in a movie anyway, because a lot of that is based on other mediums anyway. Certainly from what I played of World of Warcraft, there's like Terminator references and everything. So I mean, it's not.
yeah. It does have its own small sense of humor you can always have, though. Like the dwarves are always funny because every Scottish thing's hilarious when you put it into context, and gnomes are small and silly because lots of weird inventions and doing lots of dumb shit and blowing themselves up more often than not. But this is based on a particular time in the Warcraft universe where a bunch of orcs are being twisted into these kind of like demonic slaves by an unknown massive demon legion and attacking a civilization has prior to then no knowledge that they could even exist or that there was other life in the universe. So it is not a movie about let's have some fun. It's literally a movie about an invasion and war. There's not much humor in war.
Warcraft, you could say.
Yeah, you could
Like
say the crafting of war. Mark. It's like I'm still going to see it. I'm going to leave it until I'm coming up to Glasgow. I'll be up at the in fact, just after E3, I'm coming up. I think it's the 17th of June that I come up for about a week and a half. So
okay.
I'll be seeing World of Warcraft with some people then. And of course, Mark, you're more than happy to join us if you want.
Sure.
And then I will let you know what I think, because I won't be looking at it from the let's compare it to Warcraft and World of Warcraft. I'll be looking at it more compared to the books, which I think is the right way to do this for this movie. It's not like Assassin's Creed where all you really have is the games. Yes, there are some novels, but yes, they are entire bollocks. And so like that could do with taking itself a bit more fun. Like if I spend I could crack a smile once in a while. What's the trailers for that? Yeah, the trailers for that look kind of shit. I watched a trailer for Assassin's Creed recently. I was like, ugh.
It's because they threw some Kanye West on it, and also have some weird mechanical animus arm now that I don't understand.
Yes, that thing that lifted him up for no goddamn reason. But apparently, a lot more of that movie than what they suggest takes place in the modern day.
Yeah, it's like a 60-40 split from what.
Yeah, it's like no, you want it to be the other way, and then weighted some more the other way. You want 70% of that movie to be set inside the Animus, as opposed to let's develop the character. No, let's see some guy doing assassinations.
I bet there's very little character development in it. That's if I had to guess.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. What was I talking about?
Warcraft.
Prior to that, to get beyond to Warcraft. Oh yeah, I was talking about how it's taking my place as World of Warcraft, and you asked me about the movie. Yeah. Video games.
Yep, video games.
I think that's all I've been doing, really. Like, work and playing Elite and Bloodborne. So it's been a pretty slow week.
Yeah, I've spent the last week off on holiday. I'd like to say that I've done quite a bit, but I've just been kind of chilling and just kind of relaxing, getting my strength back after being off sick for a week because of wisdom teeth and working myself to the bone at work. But prior to our discussion last week, I ordered the cheap £35 Doom, expecting it to arrive some point, during the week. Give me time to get play of it, talk about how it is, get lay of the land. Literally showed up just as we were about to broadcast this morning. So I have yet to break the shrink wrap on this. So I can't talk about Doom. That's which, I've been super frustrated with. I actually had to contact the Amazon seller saying, listen.
Send my fucking game.
It said it shipped on Monday. Where is it?
Yeah.
And then Royal Mail said, oh, well, we got it on Thursday. So clearly that shipped on Monday. But yeah. Aside from that, I've been playing Minecraft still.
Really?
Yeah.
You had a week to do anything you wanted with, and you didn't play Dark Souls 2.
Well, that might happen today or tomorrow.
You've said that for the last 3 months, Mark.
But I'm trying to sort out.
It's £36 right now on Amazon. I might have to pick up Doom.
Yeah.
No, that's the PlayStation 4 one. Remember, we checked it last week, and it was like £35 for Xbox, and it was like $42 for PlayStation. It's now $36, so I might buy it. I don't know if I've got the money to do it, but I might buy it anyway.
Is that from Amazon, or is that
from Amazon? Yeah, it's from Amazon.
Fine then.
I might pick it up. And next week it'll arrive, and I can play it the following week.
But what else is it? Yeah, like aside on the outskirts stuff, I bought the original Dark Souls for Xbox 360 because it's currently on sale just now. It's like £3.
Oh, see, if I knew you were going to do that, you should have said to me, because
Uh,
I've got a couple of spare keys for Dark Souls Prepare to Die edition on Steam.
oh, I've got that, but like because it's super cheap on Xbox 360, it's backwards compatible on Xbox One. So like I've got more than one version to play if I want it.
Well, if you've already got it on Steam, why haven't we started
I,
playing co-op on Steam then?
because mostly when I'm on my laptop playing stuff, well, here's the thing: one of my Xbox One controllers broke.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I need to replace that at some point. I also had the thing this week where like my mouse broke, like my expensive mouse that I got from Japan, like the wireless receiver broke, so I've had to order a new mouse that's coming on Sunday. Yeah, so there's like a bunch of stuff I need to replace. I need to replace one of my Xbox controllers for definite, because that's what I was using for the laptop stuff. I have got a wired Xbox controller somewhere as well. I suppose I could use, but yeah, like I'll start playing that probably after I finish 2, I think, or if I finish 2. That's the given how my playthrough has been of that so far. I think I'm like 30 odd hours in and not very far through.
Well, you killed the last giant and you killed the pursuer, didn't you?
And also I killed some other guy, like in a dais that I had to fight. That was off camera.
Oh, yeah, you killed the
Some
Dragon
Rider.
Slayer. Yeah, the Dragon Rider. Yeah, that's what it was. You killed the Dragon Rider. I
Yeah.
can't believe you done that off camera.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that to
I
happen.
told you not to play this game off camera.
But
Only play this game off camera.
I think I'm probably in a worse position going back now because I have no idea A, where my souls are, and B, what the hell I'm doing, because I'm even more confused now.
I assumed you died and then went back, then turned it off.
Yes.
In that case, you're in the area your souls are in. So it's not like you went back to Majula and had to go, oh, god damn it, which of these areas is it in?
Did I go back to Majula? I have a habit of going back to Majula just in case anything happens. But I don't know. I guess I'll find out when I turn it back on. Yeah, so should get that more regular shortly. But yeah, like playing Minecraft as opposed to last week when I said like, hey, I hadn't died, got all this stuff. Yeah, died, lost all my stuff. So I've had to basically start digging a new mine. Haven't found anything that rivals diamonds yet, but found like a massive, never-ending like spire of caves underneath with like lava and shit. Then found 4 Endermen and died. They replaced the combat system in that game very recently, whereas melee isn't as effective unless you let it charge up.
Okay.
They've added shields. You can switch like offhands now. I'm trying to figure out how to make powered minecart rails. There's loads of stuff in there that I've been doing, but most of it has been exploring this never-ending network of caves and building a boat and then traveling off to another island. It's losing more hours into that than I care to admit. But
yeah, I sunk a lot of time into that for a while. Then I didn't play it for a very long time. I had no idea that it added offhands and charging your weapons and what? That's not Minecraft anymore.
I know, and they're also having a PvP.
Oh, fuck off!
As well. Yeah, I know, right? But what else have we been playing apart from that? I played a little bit more. I know, like they keep changing that game.
Yeah, that's just Microsoft milking the shit out of that game. That is not what Minecraft was originally intended for.
It's still building stuff.
Yeah, but there's all this extra shit that the game was never scoped for.
They seem to be turning into more of a survival thing. I don't know if that was intended for.
I guess suppose like a lot of the changes in the game, one could argue was never scoped for. Like it was never scoped originally for survival, but that change made sense. But the charging up your weapons and nerfing the shit out of hitting things seems a bit silly. If I have a diamond sword, I want it to do tons of damage.
I had a diamond sword. Then I lost it.
Did you have diamond armor to go with it?
No, I didn't have diamond armor. I had a diamond pickaxe and I had a diamond sword. And then I died somewhere and I had no idea where it was. So then I got really mad and I burned down all the forests. So,
As you do.
and then it rained, and I was like, "Why are you doing this?" And then set everything on fire again as soon as it stopped raining. But yeah, Minecraft's fun. It's more fun than it has any right to be. It's just one of those weird time waster games where I've got like 5 minutes, I'll just go in and do that. Other than that, I played a little bit more of Shadow Complex. I'm trying to find the last few pass keys so I can find the last item. I'm like 90% complete of that thing. I think I know where two are, but I'm not entirely sure where the other one is. It's pretty good. If you've never played it, you should definitely play it, Darren.
Yeah, I downloaded it on PC when they released it very briefly for free. So I had the setup for it somewhere. So I probably will play it at some point, but I can't remember. I put the setup file for it.
It's a really good game.
I have considered buying it for console as well, but
I don't think I think the PC one. I don't think you could play that anymore. I think it was just for a limited time. But because that was when they were trying to shove the like Unreal ecosphere into everybody's throats, weren't they? It's like for a free time you could play Shadow Complex.
I think it was for a free time you got it for free. Just for a limited time you got it for free.
Maybe one of those like equivalent Steam free weekends. I guess you'll find out when you go to install it. It says "Nah, son."
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a text from Ali regarding Minecraft there, so I'm guessing he's watching.
Hey Ali, how's your
Minecraft
face?
was never scoped to be an adventure game either, but they did that.
Yeah, he's listening in then.
Yep.
If you want to have a point to make, Ali, come onto the podcast.
Aside from that, I went back to Prison Architect.
Good game.
That's the first time I've been onto that since they released the final version. They've done a few dramatic upgrades since the last time I was there. There is now the option to have weather and temperature in your prison, which means that you need to have a heating system, which there is now radiators and different pipes for hot water. So that means that showers and stuff need to be connected to that. It means your radiators need to be connected to that. You need to have a boiler. So basically, there's more scope for stuff to go wrong.
And also, you can set up the scenario where Andy Dufresne can finally escape from the prison.
Yes. Like, that's one of the modes is actually an escape mode, if you want that. I started playing through the campaign last night, which is basically just a series of missions that prepare you for the main story. Sorry, the main playground mode.
Yeah.
So I'm on the second mission just now, which is basically just, hey, like there's a fire, you better call in the fire crew, which I've never had to do normally, and you actually have to direct the firefighters and like target fire specifically, and accidentally sent them all into a building and they all died. So I had to restart that mission. I was like, oh, that guy's injured. Oh, I can't. Oh, he's on. Oh no, yeah, fire's bad apparently, and we'll kill even firefighters who should theoretically be, putting out the fire before they walk into it.
And who also I would thought you didn't have to direct, because surely firefighters know how to fight fire and don't need a prison architect to tell them how to deal with it.
Yeah, you would think that, wouldn't you? Apparently they do. If you set them a distance away, they will automatically go for the fire, but you can direct the nozzle itself. Yeah, like there's just little things here and there that I've added to that game. You can also have a male or female prison there, which was never in the first one. They've added a whole bunch of the new wardens as well with like different stats. Like some, if you choose a specific warden, like it will cool down situations quicker. There's another one where if you find contraband, you get a cut of the sale of that contraband. You can make your prison like super corrupt if you want. And then like if everything goes wrong, you get arrested and go in your prison, which is,
irony.
Yep. It should be fun. I haven't had that fail state happen yet. I think it'd be hilarious if that happened and you'd got all the way to the point of like establishing like an electric chair. Because then you would definitely have a time scale to get out of there. But no, it's just interesting to pop into that like every now and again and see what progress they've made. I think they added like a 3D mode as well somewhere in there. I couldn't find it last night, but you can basically transform the game into like full 3D. I'm not entirely sure how fully featured that is. I think all the character sprites are still 2D, but like the environment's 3D. But it's cool. I'm trying to
Yeah,
think what else.
I've not played it in a very long time. Like it was still way, way back in beta when I last played it.
I think I wrapped up 40 hours even before it hit main release, which is something. But I think my last prison broke because it was still in beta. I think like classrooms weren't working properly, and like libraries weren't working, and what was the other thing that wasn't working? Yeah, the staff shop wasn't working either. But there's like so much stuff in that game that for the price that I paid for it, like more than worth it. And
Yeah.
that game is now out on, or about to come out on consoles, I think this week.
No, it's been out. Oh no, I'm thinking of the Escapists. Yeah, I think it's coming out soon.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that works on a console, considering how you really need a mouse and keyboard to work that. But
You're probably done like theme park and dungeon keeper and stuff. It'll be a really limited set, but then you'll have a button or two that will access extra options that you need to wade through.
yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that works. I know it's been up on game preview for a while on Xbox One, but I think the full version is coming to PS4 and Xbox One June 6th, I want to say, somewhere about there. But yeah, aside from that, Peggle became free on Xbox Live. I played a bit of Peggle. That's been my week. I've just been basically sitting there going, when the fuck is Doom going to get here? And it came today. So it's great. Like the packaging is so good. The graphics.
The box is really sturdy. It's shiny. It's everything you could ask for from a box.
I know, right? There's
10 out of 10 would buy again.
10 again, sturdy. Fills up my shelf. Back of the box.
I shouldn't buy any more games. My shelf is too full of games already.
Oh, we have a drawer full now, as well as a shelf. So
prior to moving down here, I had a drawer that had all my games in it as well. And I switched to bookshelf because I have more space.
Yeah, we need to get a new bookshelf in here, I think, and start filling that up. But yeah, shall we move on to the news for this week?
Yes.
There's quite a bit of news.
There's quite a lot of news going on, yeah.
We'll talk about the one that had a little bit of a change to it last night, which was that No Man's Sky has been delayed.
Yep.
It's been delayed. Yep. You posted this into our Slack conversation. When was that? Was that earlier in the week?
A couple of days ago.
Yeah. Kotaku had received word that the game was going to get delayed from June. Nothing had been set in stone yet. But Hello Games basically confirmed that at like 1 o'clock this morning, like saying that the game wouldn't reach its intended date and would be delayed into August. So, yeah, I don't think you were too bothered about that, were you, Darren? You're not exactly looking forward to.
I have no cares for that game. It's not even got the concept of a pretense of a story. It's just fly around and make up your own story, and that doesn't really go that well with me.
Isn't that Elite Dangerous?
No, there are missions and stuff to get done in that game, and there is a wider story. It's just a very slow-paced story. It's quite a glacial thing. Like, the community events themselves always affect the wider universe. Like, I don't know what this one will do, because it's a bit daft, the one that I'm doing right now. But there is another community event going on side by side with it, and there's two sides to it. There's kill pilots of X type. And so if there's less of those pilots, that system is more vulnerable to being taken over, and that shifts the balance of power in the game. And then conversely, there's kill pilots of Y type, which flips that in its head. So, it's either one faction getting stronger and one faction getting weaker at the other, and, so that's going to change what happens in that sector of space. It's going to affect who can trade what where and who can go where safely, and probably what commodities you want to trade in. So it's going to, business changes.
Well, you never know. No Man's Sky might have that sort of thing. I know there is an in-game economy, but it just depends. No one really knows what that thing is, and probably won't know until it launches. So
I
Hello
think
Games.
anyone's going to know what that game is for like 5-6 months after release, because people are going to be like.
And you get to the center, and then Peter Molyneux is there, and he promises
goes, I am God, and you come play my new game. Go to S5.
But you have to buy all other 4 and all the DLC before you can touch it.
Yep.
It's not on rails. So yeah, Sean Murphy from Hello Games basically wrote up on the PlayStation blog last night that the game has been delayed and will not be available in Europe until the 10th of August, and then we get it in the UK on the 12th.
Yep, apparently so.
Which is a bit weird. There's not normally a Europe divide,
Eh.
but I know Ali was super bummed out by this.
Yes, he was.
But hey, at least your summer's clear for all
No
those
Man's Sky.
games, all those summer games like Arkham Revisited.
Hey man,
That's
hey, I'm going to be playing that a lot.
but that's about the only one I can think of that's coming out during summer. To move on to the big news, I suppose, for the week.
Well, let's move down the list.
Yep. So a report that came out from Polygon this week was that not only is Microsoft releasing a new Xbox Slim this year, but apparently the Xbox 1.5, as it was being referred to, supposedly coming out next year, is going to be a massive revision and potentially twice the power of the current PlayStation 4. So
yes, that's a pretty big claim as well, I think, because it's entirely possible. I'm not saying it's unfeasible. It's just in order to create a console so soon after release of their current console and to double essentially like 2.5 times maybe the current Xbox itself.
But I said the rumors I saw were about four times.
4 times the current Xbox, yeah, which makes it double the PlayStation 1. The cost of that is going to be quite high.
Which, yeah,
like, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, the technology in comparison to what's in there will be relatively cheap now as compared to when it originally came out, but it's still going to be expensive. Like, I don't know what the specs are, but let's say it's I'm going to pick random graphics cards just because. Like, let's say it's comparing an NVIDIA GeForce 4600 series with a GeForce 6600 series. At the same times, the 66 costs a lot more money, but 2 years later, the 66 is a lot cheaper. So
you don't think they're going to just throw a bunch of 1080s in there?
Yeah, sure. No, like, oh yeah, so I hear from the rumors it's going to be powered by a Titan. It's just like throw a GeForce Titan in there, why not?
Yeah, the console's grand. It's fine.
Yeah, that's all right. Everyone can afford $1,000 for a console. But I'm not enjoying these rumors that are flying around right now.
So yeah, like they're saying that the target performance for this is going to be about 6 teraflops.
Yeah, that's huge.
Whether or not it will be anywhere near that, I don't know. I know the PlayStation Neo was that not trying to reach about 4.6 somewhere about there from the rumors?
Yeah, I think I remember seeing 4 back in. It's 4 point something, but it was a while ago I read that. So yeah, it's looking to be a little powerhouse of a console. But they've been out for what, 2, maybe a push 3 years, not even 3 years.
This is the third year of these new consoles.
Yeah, but it's not been 3 years. It's the beginning of the third year, isn't it?
Well, by the time it reaches November, it'll be. I don't know actually. 2013 was. I want to say 2013, yeah. So maybe like just coming up to the third year. But yeah, like
it was released on the 22nd of November 2013, so it's about 2.5 years old at the moment. And considering the last cycle lasted almost a decade, and it wasn't that terrible of a cycle. Like, it was maybe a wee bit long, but there was a lot of good stuff that went on in that generation, and now they're wanting to, like, it's not a new console by the sounds of it. Like, it sounds like all the games that are going to come out for this should theoretically work for the current generation of consoles, but they're going to be crap. And they're going to lose support really quickly.
Yeah, no one said anything about like the backwardsness or like a game on this new Scorpio Xbox should work on Xbox One. Like, it's been a case of like the way developers have been talking about it is that it must work on the Xbox and it must work on the Windows 10. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the fuck is going on.
I think Microsoft are deliberately avoiding that one because from what we heard with the original, like when Microsoft was the vanilla, we're going to do an iteration of our console, and then the entire PlayStation thing came out afterwards. the UWP and the UWA would imply that all games that work on Xbox One would automatically work on Scorpio, but that the reverse isn't true.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's probably true to a degree. Like, if they're based on all UWPs, then they will work, but not necessarily to the same degree. It's going to be like having a version of Xbox where you can play Battlefield 712 with 64 people and the exact same game on Xbox One as opposed to Scorpio where you can only play with 16.
So that was something they tried to like address with the new PlayStation stuff, was that feature set would be exactly the same across both platforms. The only thing it would change is that the graphical fidelity might be a bit better, or like frame rate might be a bit better. The actual core feature set and the way the game works would not change.
Yeah.
Microsoft haven't said anything.
Yeah, but it'd be fair enough if they only had one console announcement, which was the Slim, which was maybe a wee bit more powerful as well, hence, maybe Xbox 1.5 or whatever. But they have two console announcements to make. They're not both going to be minor iterations on the same design.
So what I've been hearing is that there's going to be three.
Really? I was surprised at hearing two. What's the third one you've heard?
So the Slim version of the Xbox One, this new Scorpio, but also apparently they're going to bring out like a USB TV Xbox thing.
Oh, okay.
So whether that would just be their TV functionality, I have no idea. Maybe it's the original Xbox on a USB stick. Who knows?
Look, we distilled the entertainment package of Xbox One on a USB.
Nobody would buy it, but
I've not heard that one.
That was something I saw kicking about. But yeah, this is, as somebody who has an Xbox One right now,
you're not feeling too good.
Well, I'd be interested to see what they do, because the rumors are right now is that this thing is being specifically built like around the Oculus Rift.
I've heard a lot of Scorpio being VR heavy.
So what does this mean? Does this mean that come E3, this is going to be a passing kind of, oh, we've got this coming out, and then that's the end of the press conference? They don't really dwell on it very much. Or are they going, right, this is the new Xbox, fuck everything beforehand, I know we fucked up, we're going to offer like a loyalty scheme. If you bought an Xbox One like around this time, we'll offer you a discount or whatever. I don't see that happening.
No, it's never going to happen. Yeah. No way they're going to say, oh, here guys, you've been loyal to us, have 50% off an upgrade.
If I could send away my Xbox One and do that, I totally would. But I don't see that happening. This would be the shortest generation that I can remember, because I think with the original Xbox, it was like 4 years in, wasn't it?
I think it would be the shortest generation that's ever been.
Yeah.
Because the 8-bit cycle lasted for a long time, the 16-bit cycle lasted for a while, the 64-bit PlayStation cycle, PlayStation 2 cycle lasted for ages, the PlayStation 3 generation lasted for a long fucking time.
Longer than it should have.
This one has only just begun.
So what happens now? Like, this E3 has opened up like about 1 million different avenues. Do Sony even announce this? Surely they have to address this at E3. The rumors are that they're not going to, and it's going to be shown at TGS. That can't work.
I think that by itself will speak volumes. But I think if they show it at E3, it's going to show there's a lot of support internally in the company for it. But if they show it at TGS, it's going to be a bit more meek. Like, the Japanese side supports this. It's not really being supported by the wider kind of PlayStation community or Sony community, and it's going to be a bit of a flop if they do it at TGS.
Or are they just trying to pump more money into the whole Japan thing? Japan's got the Olympics coming up. Maybe they're trying to revitalize their industry over there or something. Because Nintendo's not showing anything at E3 this year. They're just showing Zelda.
Yeah, but that's nothing new for Nintendo. They've had a trend for the last few years of showing less and less and less at E3 and sticking to what they do through Nintendo Directs and miniature their own conferences stuff. So I'm not 100% surprised, or in fact, I'm not surprised at all by Nintendo keeping quiet on the NX and the new handheld.
I think this, for the rumors are that as well, that Nintendo is probably going to show something about NX at TGS. which would be
Oh
the
yeah,
first.
that's the more place that they would do it. I
Yeah.
don't think they've been backing out E3 for years, and their own stuff. And Tokyo Game Show makes more sense because they still have a following, big around the world, particularly Tokyo. Since handhelds are huge there.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see what they do. But yeah, like this what's happened this generation. Everybody just kind of went, yeah, we fucked up.
But they didn't know. There's nothing wrong with the current generation.
But you think about it in parity to PC. Normally, there's like
No, that's not that's not a comparison to make. PC is always going to be the platform that is best. There's no if, buts, and maybes.
Oh no, yeah. It's always best.
In order to produce a viable console, you have to drop back several iterations of PC.
But there's normally not this massive divide this early.
There's not a massive divide though. It's not as huge as what you're making it. Like, there is always a big divide when it comes to PC, but it's not like a freaking gulf. It's like there's PlayStation and Xbox over this side and PCs over this. It's not like PCs are way over here somewhere.
I would say it was, like, especially this generation. Like, it's never normally been this bad.
No,
I would, in terms of frame rate, graphical fidelity, and everything else, I think like
that's nothing new though.
These consoles have been a massive disappointment for that. Don't get me wrong. I think they've shown instances of looking really fantastic and like performing really fantastically, but like even in the case of like Halo 5 or something, where like they've actually had to take steps to make it run at 60 frames per second. There's like, like they got the 1080 card coming out, then Doom's running at like 200 frames a second, like on ultra settings. Like that's I don't think there's ever been this much of a massive divide. If you want to play games now, like if someone were to come up to me and recommend like a PlayStation or Xbox One, I would say get a PC. In all honesty, like, because for what, like a handful of console exclusives that have came out so far, like Halo, Bloodborne, Uncharted, that's like what, 5 games compared to everything else, which would run a damn sight better on PC. Bar Arkham Knight, obviously.
I was going to say bar certain noble titles, but you wouldn't get to play certain things as well. Like there would, like, they're not even necessarily a console exclusive. Like if you want to play like the whatever they're going to do, if they add any new features to the Arkham Revisited stuff, like if it isn't just here's Unreal 3 versus Unreal 4 with all the DLC. But even then, on PC, that's a significant step up. Like, yes, you can get texture mods and all that kind of stuff to make it look better, but you're not going to be able to replace Unreal 3 with Unreal 4 versus in a mod.
True. But those games still look pretty fucking good on PC.
Oh yeah, like they are stunning when you turn them up to their max settings. Like they're easily comparable to the consoles, but changing the entire engine, which changes how the physics is going to work, how the lighting is going to work and everything, you can't do that with just mods. So you miss out on stuff like that because there's not even been a suggestion that this is going to touch PC.
No, and if I had to guess, I'm going to guess Warner's going to stay away for the PC for the next while.
I think until, unless they've got it developing behind lots of closed doors and until it is running super stable, then go, oh, by the way, it's coming to the PC as well. And it's not going to be broken as fuck because we didn't hand off development to some shoddy-ass little company to port it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, this is ported by some other company, so I don't know what would happen with that.
Yeah, so so you miss out on stuff like that. So there are certain things that if you enjoy and you want to see the new ways it work, you pretty much have to buy a console for. But I would need to buy a console because I want to play Bloodborne because that's a great game.
Wonder if that would ever make its way to PC.
No. A lot of people have went, it's going to come to PC eventually. It's not. A lot of people have said that Demon's Souls was going to come to PC eventually, and that was out a long time ago. Yeah. That's still on PlayStation 3 only.
Which is weird because you think after like the success of Dark Souls on PC, they'd be all over that. But I suppose if Sony's publishing that, that's
considering as well the history of Souls games moving to PC, it's never been good. Like when Dark Souls went to PC, and still now, like if you were to buy a brand new copy or brand new copy of Dark Souls, like you just go to Steam to buy a copy of Dark Souls and install it, you would find it runs like a piece of shit, and that you need to install mods to get it to work. there are recommended mods by other people that FromSoft say you have to install to get this game to work properly.
So the 60 frames mod? Is that
It's DS Fix is what it's called. It unlocks the frame rate cap. It fixes a lot of the control stuff, a lot of the texturing, and just the play style in general. But this is a guy who fixed their game, and now FromSoft's like, download that because we don't want to patch it because he's done it better than us.
Wasn't there the whole thing with Dark Souls 1 that it was on like games for Windows, and then they had to basically patch out of that as well?
Yeah, when the games Windows started failing, FromSoft didn't want to lose the online support, so they had to make a lot of changes to get it to work on Steam. That's the only changes they really made to the game after Prepare to Die Edition, I think. And then the same was true for Dark Souls 2. When they released that, it wasn't as bad, but it was still, comparative to consoles, a piece of shit. They had to do a lot of fixing on that as well.
Yeah.
I don't think they had the same trouble with Dark Souls 3. I don't remember hearing so many troubles. There were a few really bad problems with the game, like in certain instances when you got to the very first bonfire in the game, which was if you decided to just run for it, you could get there in about 45 seconds. The game wouldn't let you get away from the bonfire. It just crashed the game. And whenever you loaded up the game, it wouldn't load your save. Or if it did load your save, it crashed the save. So they have a very shaky history. They wouldn't go and try and make Demon's Souls work. That is an old game that just won't want to play nice on PC.
Yeah. Game development. It's hard.
Yeah. Plus, specifically designed for that one console set. Same with Bloodborne. It's going to be a pain in the arse to remove all the... It was designed specifically for this, and this. If they can't emulate that on PC, it's going to become a problem.
For definite. But yeah, we'll just kind of need to see what's happening. Thankfully, we'll have to wait 2 weeks, and we'll find out.
Yes,
we will find out.
I really hope there's a lot of discussion on what's happening with these consoles because it makes me nervous what's going on right now. Like I've not had my PlayStation 4 for that long. I really don't want to replace it.
Well, that's the thing. Like the immediate talk of them doing this PlayStation 4K or whatever the hell you want to call it made me go, right, I'm not buying a PlayStation yet. There's no point. Yeah,
that's exactly what I was getting to the point where I was like, yeah, I could maybe afford, if I just, do this and that, I could get myself an Xbox One, play Tomb Raider, get to play Quantum Break and all that kind of stuff. And then it's like, oh yeah, new console, maybe 1.5. I was like, well, I'm not going to buy it until the Slim comes out. And then there's this talk of Scorpio. I was like, well, I'm not going to buy it till Scorpio comes out.
It's like, even as somebody who has an Xbox One owner, the Scorpio stuff has me interested as well. So might be an upgrading both, depending on what happens out of that. But I need more information, damn it.
Yeah, and considering they're already really far behind in sales, having two unknown console things going on is a bit much. It's going to affect their sales as well. For anyone that's considering buying it, it's going to well, I could buy the Xbox 360 or I could wait a few months until the Xbox Slim comes out. Yep. Which is what I done. I was like, I could buy a 360 or I could wait till the Slim comes out. It's a lot fucking prettier looking and has Wi-Fi built in.
Yeah, I've still got my original one from launch. So, well, not my original one from launch, the replacement version of the one from launch. So, yeah, I don't know. This will be the first time I think I would have ever upgraded mid life cycle. Assuming it is the same life cycle, they might be saying that the king is dead. Long live the king.
Long live the king. It was never the king, though. Yeah. It was always second best. Like, it has its good points. Like, there are points where it does better than the PlayStation 4, but from a as objective as you can be point of view as to how it technically performs and its sales, it's second best.
Yeah, easily. But yeah, no, I mean, I've been happy with my Xbox One so far. Don't get me wrong, there are games that I still want to play from the PlayStation perspective. Like, I still want to play, Bloodborne, Uncharted, The Witness, stuff like that. Yeah,
that's pretty much the only reason why I went for PlayStation. I could have quite easily gone for Xbox because I played a lot of 360 back in the day. I essentially abandoned my PlayStation 3 in favor of everything on Xbox, and that was the way it was going to be for. I was like, Xbox One, and then the exclusives started getting announced, and they leaned more towards PlayStation 4. Like everything that I want to play is mostly dual console, but the exclusive that I want to play are all on PlayStation.
Yeah.
But there's only, let's say, 2 on the Xbox that I want to play. 1 is coming to PlayStation eventually, and I can wait for it because I don't care that much about Tomb Raider. I'm quite happy to wait until eventually it joins. I could see you were like, what's things? I thought I would drop the title in there as well. Tomb Raider is eventually coming to PlayStation. I don't care that much. I'm willing to wait the year or whatever it takes for it to come. The only game that I really want to play that's Xbox exclusive is Quantum Break.
Yeah, it's a good game. It's a good game.
It looks like a lot of fun, but it's not worth dropping like 300 quid on a console.
You're right. It's not. I'll say that now. It's not.
Yeah, that's why I've not done it. Like there are 2 reasons I would buy an Xbox One, actually. One is to play Quantum Break, and the other is to drag your fucking ass through Dark Souls.
Yes, that would probably help. But yeah, plus you have your backwards compatibility library and all the stuff. Are you still claiming all your games from Games for Gold?
Of course I am.
Yeah. So like,
I have a huge library of Xbox One games that I don't particularly care about. There's been none that I've gone, ooh, that's really good to have.
Sunset Overdrive was a surprisingly good one to have on there. But
yeah, that game doesn't really look for me.
It's pretty fun. Like I totally enjoyed my playthrough of that. What else? The Dead Space was on there. Like there's like a million things. Iron Brigade.
I have Iron Brigade.
But yeah, now you have a digital version that's playable on your Xbox One.
I already had the digital version that is probably
on your Xbox One.
Really, that version that I bought probably isn't backwards compatible.
No, but that's a good point. It is. But
yeah, there you go. So I already have.
That is the version I've got.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to see how the DLC for that performs, if that performs any better on Xbox One, because it was a bit sluggish, if I remember rightly. But
never even bought it.
No, it was.
We'd all stopped kind of playing it at that point, and then you and Ali got it, and I was in the middle of doing other things and didn't buy it. And then when you stopped playing it, when I considered buying it, I didn't bother buying it. Yeah, we should go back to that at some point because that was a lot of fun. That game. I don't think I even completed the main campaign.
No, you must have.
No, don't think I did.
All right, we could. I don't have a save on the Xbox One, so it'd be a case of me starting from the start. But that's more than.
I can start from the start again because I don't remember how to play the freaking game.
Yeah. Quickly move on to the next news then. Keeping with the E3 theme, we'll go into this one. The ESA announced the free public E3 Live event, which will be happening down the road during E3 from the 14th to the 16th. Basically just down the road from the what's the name of the LA Arena?
I don't know. The only big arena venue I know for conferencey type shit is Anaheim, and it's not been held in Anaheim.
No, that's not. That's not.
It's because I only know that because of BlizzCon.
I think it's just the LA Convention Center. But this event takes place where Nintendo used to hold their press conference, and it's completely open to the public. They basically have 2 spots per day, kind of like book your times to go for like a show sort of thing. But the tickets are all gone. So because for whatever reason they decided to do a first come first serve thing, so they are completely gone. So there's no point in even talking about this. But hey, shall we talk about the people that they actually got on to do it?
Yes. So let's talk about what's going to be going on there.
Did you see the list of publishers?
I'm looking at it right now.
Those big things like Alienware, Facebook, Oculus, Frito-Lay. Yep,
everyone loves about Frito-Lay.
AKA Walkers in this country, so you'll be able to get your Doritos on.
Yep.
The HTC Vive, Loot Crate, Monster, Twitch, Ubisoft, Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment, and so they've got 2 developers on board for that.
But the biggest thing is that anyone that attends will be able to go to the Pokemon Symphonic Evolutions concert on the 14th of June.
Yep.
Yay! Pokemon music.
I suppose they need to change E3 in some sort of way. It seems to be dying a slow and horrible death.
E3 goes through Phoenix like progressions. Like for a long time, it was dead, and then it burst out of the ashes, like huge and big, and kept getting bigger and bigger. And now it's going through its kind of death, and kind of cry again, and it's going to burst out again. For as long as there are games and stuff, it's going to come and go.
They did that thing where they removed it from the LA Convention Center, and like it was all in like a bunch of hotels.
Yeah,
like,
I remember that year. That was
horrible. They seem to have learned a lesson from that, but then with the collapse of Disney's publishing arm, which was a massive part of the show's, the show floor, and EA pulling out as well, you got to wonder, what's next. I guess Xbox and Sony are always going to be a part of that, depending on what happens. But I think
as long as the larger players are still there, and the larger players are always going to be the people who are the major console platforms. Like Nintendo isn't a major console platform anymore, so it doesn't matter if they're there or not. I mean, there is the possibility that it could become a big platform again when the NX comes out, but until then, they're not a console competitor. They're just, let's have some fun making levels on Mario Maker because it's the only game anyone talks about when they mention the Wii.
Yeah. You think the new Nintendo console is going to be anywhere near as powerful as these rumored consoles?
Not as the rumored consoles. Like the rumors that were always going around for the NX is that it would play ball with the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One.
So once again,
and then they went, and then they heard like Sony and Microsoft went, whoa, let's make a new console, boys. Microsoft thinks he's fancy. Not Microsoft, sorry, Nintendo thinks he's been fancy.
Yeah. Per Nintendo. Yeah, so E3 going to be more public from now on. We'll see what happens with that, see how successful this is, whether more people sign on to this. Nobody will know, but I guess we'll find out in the next coming year or so. Bit of news that you broke, Darren, to us that we didn't know about.
I know! It's so good! I can't take it anymore, man. My emotions can only take so much.
Were you at Eurogamer when we saw this demo? Yep. So
we were there. We all got our funky ass T-shirts, and we all sat and went, "Oh, this is so cool!" And then we cried
because that game was apparently never a thing. That was just that demo and nothing else.
Yeah.
So Prey 2 might be coming back from the dead.
I hope.
So apparently, what was it, like a link on the main page now takes it to a hidden Facebook site or something?
Yep.
So originally this was taken from, who was it? THQ that were behind this before?
Yes, it was THQ, which is why it died a horrible death.
Or was it? Was not id?
No, it wasn't id. Let me check.
I can't remember, but either way, like the development of Prey moved on to Arcane Studios, who were busy with, Dishonored 2 and Dishonored. Whether or not this is still being made by them, I don't know. They weren't particularly happy, from what I heard, about having development shoved onto them. So this should be interesting to see, if this resembles any way, shape, or form this original demo, or whether or not this is something completely new.
Oh, it's been developed by Human Head Studios, which is a modified id Tech 4 engine.
Yep.
I swore it was THQ.
Yeah, for some reason I thought it was THQ. I don't think THQ published it. I think it was just around that time. Because remember, Bethesda swallowed up id at one point, so that must have been where it came from. But yeah, Human Head Interactive disappeared off the face of the earth. So yeah, I guess we might see Prey at E3.
I have much hope. There's only so much sadness my life can take, though. Prey 2 was so good looking.
Yeah, it was definitely they'd taken cues from Deus Ex and decided, because that was coming out around the same time, wasn't it?
Yeah. The question is, there's that. Is it Cyberpunk 2077 that's in development by CD Projekt Red or something? It could find itself in a lot of competition with that now. Because Prey 2 seemed like it had a lot of what is now in 2077, and when I was watching 2077 trailers, I always kind of thought of Prey 2. I was like, well, it'll be my alternative Prey 2. It looks like very cyberpunky, very that universe that Prey was kind of looked like it was in. Not necessarily the same story with like the marshal hunting and the crazy stuff that they had going on, but the universe was maybe there.
Question is, do you even still call it Prey 2 at this point?
If it's a sequel to Prey, then yes.
Do we really want a sequel to Prey though?
For the one that we seen back in...
Yeah, no, but like call it something like you call it like the Prey, like the reboot of it. Don't like pretend like the first one didn't exist.
No, because if it picks up from where Prey left off, or it leans on something that Prey had, it requires a link to Prey.
Yeah. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what this is.
I suppose if it's different enough, they could just call it Prey.
Yeah.
Make it like the Prey reboot.
So because there's been games before that have just renamed themselves.
I have no idea you're talking about. No one has ever just taken their original name and reused it.
I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. I would love for that demo to be turned into a full game. Like that was probably one of the most interesting things we saw at that show.
It was the most interesting thing I saw at that show.
So, we'll, do it.
Yep.
I'm not entirely sure how big Arcane is, because I know they have Dishonored 2 coming out this year as well.
Yep.
So, I don't know. Find out in a couple of weeks, I guess.
Hopefully.
What do you mean, hopefully? We will. Or we won't.
Hoping that we will, because the choices are we will hear about it or we won't hear about it. I hope we will, that's what I'm saying. God work.
You think that would be a Bethesda? Yeah, that would totally be a Bethesda press conference thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
so that'd be Sunday.
Well, unless one of the consoles were pushing it for themselves, like being console exclusive, then maybe they would ask if they could push it. But I would see it being Bethesda pushing it themselves.
I can't remember. When was the last time Bethesda did a console exclusive game?
They haven't, but that I can think of. I don't think they've ever had a console exclusive game, but it doesn't preclude the fact that it's possible.
Yeah. Still, Bethesda needs something to pad out that hour that they have. They can't exactly talk about more, Elder Scrolls Legends.
Hey guys, look at the different maps you can make on Doom. Look how disappointing it is, and we're introducing new features because you've all told us it's terrible.
But the campaign, right? The campaign.
Yeah.
Bringing it out again. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Apparently, someone has used the Doom map creator, or whatever it's called. I can't remember. It's something map. Snap map. I knew it was an S word. I couldn't remember what it was. To remake a boss fight from Destiny. I thought that was quite funny. But anyway, you were saying things.
Last bit of news for the day. A former Valve employee is suing the company for $3.1 million, alleging wrongful termination.
How good does he think he is that he is worth $3.1 million?
Well, apparently that there's...
I mean, he could be a core developer in Half-Life 3. Oh, wait. Valve doesn't develop software anymore.
You never know.
No.
They
just got an office full of people that sit around and they go, la, 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 la.
They announced Shenmue 3 last year. You never know.
Yeah, but they also went, can you please pay for this game because we can't do it. Valve could cover it themselves if they had to make Half-Life.
Yeah, that's the worst part. They could make it if they wanted to.
Yeah. That's it. They don't develop software anymore.
What do we need? More hats.
There's actually, if you think about it, like Valve are massively overemploying. Unless they're actually, like, when's the last time Valve released anything?
The that game for the Vive, the Portal thing. What's it called? Valve Labs or whatever the hell it is. I think that was the last thing they did. Other than that, it would be like what? Dota 2?
Try to look and see if I can find a list of Valve games. Let's see. The Lab,
That was
Dota
it?
2. That was 3 years prior was Dota 2. 3 years prior, Alien Swarm. 3 years prior, the Orange Box, which is just a rehashing and bringing together of a number of games. 7 years prior, Ricochet. Valve don't produce software.
Didn't they bring out Counter-Strike Go in between then as well?
Is that theirs though?
I think didn't we have someone talk to Valve at Eurogamer about that?
I
Fairly
didn't
sure we
go
did.
to that. I think you and Sean went to that.
Yeah,
I
think it was just Sean.
Yeah, I was going to say that I don't care about Counter Strike. I have no cares for that at all. It's Counter Strike.
Only ever played it once, and it was in the tournament.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, the Counter Strike Go, Valve Corporation 2012.
There you go. So that would be the lessening part
of that. Great.
Yeah, no. This lawsuit's an allegation to basically transgender discrimination at Valve due to whistleblowing. Apparently, upon whistleblowing about like unpaid translators and I want to say like either the Spanish or Mexican base, when this was reported to the higher ups at Valve on one person, they were immediately sacked. And they took this as something to do with possibly being transgender. So they are suing the company for $3.1 million. Obviously, Valve has put out a statement saying that they're denying every single one of the allegations and said the employee wasn't damaged in any manner or amount or at all as a result of any act of omission by Valve. So whether this goes to court, I don't know.
I have no idea.
Theoretically, Valve could just pay this off if they wanted, I guess.
Oh yeah, Valve could cover a lot of things if they wanted.
But yeah, that's, game development. Yeah. I don't think that's exclusive to game development. I think that could be any office environment. If your manager doesn't like you and sacks you, it might not be because of that, but these things happen.
Yeah, there's the reasons things happen and the perceived reasons why things happen. If it could be that this person did get fired because of some kind of racial or sexist badness, or it could just be that he was terrible at his fucking job and doesn't want to admit it.
Yeah. Well, apparently the person in question, due to being transgender, was referred to as it, as opposed to the actual gender that they associate with. So I don't know.
Yeah.
People are assholes sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't support any of that type of shit, but there's also people have trouble dealing with that at the moment. Like, if someone is Steve and suddenly it's Caroline, the possessive pronoun is difficult for people to remember. Like, they'll keep referring to people as he.
Yeah, sometimes subconsciously, yeah. Yeah, it's a whole sticky situation.
Yeah, it's something I want to stay far away from, because I try to not offend anyone where possible. I don't want to accidentally offend anyone by saying something dumb when I'm just trying to be silly.
You have the right to be called whatever gender you associate with.
Yep.
So
you entirely do, which is also why I think some of the stuff that's going on in America right now is ridiculous.
Don't you get then potentially worse with the the GOP nominee. So
let's not talk about that person.
Yep.
That is something as a box you don't want to open right now.
Yes, let's leave it for that. Now, I don't have access to the email account, so I don't know if there's any emails. But if there are, you can send them to headsetabuse@hotmail.co.uk, and we will read them out next week. That's probably going to do it for this week's show, I would guess. What's on your list for this week, Darren?
Elite Dangerous. And maybe source a copy of Doom. I'm going out later on today, so I'll check out and see if Doom is going any cheaper than what it was, although it's probably not going to be anywhere as cheap as 36 quid. So likely I'm just going to order it from Amazon if I think I can spare the cash, and hopefully not get it next Saturday so I can play it a little bit before then.
Just before we fucking started, man. Like, seriously, like...
Yep.
You can't tell somebody that something is dispatched and will take 48 hours to arrive, and then have it arrive at Royal Mail on Thursday. It's enough said about that there. But yeah, I'm totally going to play some Doom this week. I'll report back on that next Saturday. And yes, that's also, I'm going to try and get some of that in there as well.
Fucking Dark Souls.
Yes, because now I have 2 on my Xbox One, so we'll see. We'll see what one goes around.
Don't play Dark Souls on your Xbox One. Play Dark Souls 2 on your Xbox One, and play Dark Souls on Steam with the DS fix in place and maybe a high resolution texture mod.
Okay.
Because they're pretty, and you can team up with me, and because that game is crazy difficult.
More than Dark Souls 2?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Huh.
Fuck yeah. Like the community as a whole, I'm one of the few advocates of Dark Souls 2. It's by far, I think, my favorite game in the series. Like I have a lot of fun with Dark Souls 3, but Dark Souls 2 is where I really got into my Dark Souls stride. So I relate to it a lot more than Dark Souls. So I'm part of a very very small minority that thinks Dark Souls 2 is great. Everyone else is going to go, oh, Dark Souls 2, it's all about Dark Souls 1 or nothing. So, and it is a difficult game. That's where it started becoming more accessible.
I can't comment because I've only really played 1. So, well, as in Scholar of the First Sin.
Yes,
so, like
one
the deepest of the deep ends. So,
yes, you're playing the hardest version of Dark Souls 2, but is arguably not as difficult as Dark Souls.
Huh. Okay.
So, we should figure out a way once you finish Dark Souls 2 to get Steam to work in our favor, because I think there are certain mods you can get that lean towards the favor of seeing your friends' summon signs that were originally developed for games for Windows, but I think they might still work regardless of the platform switch. It would be some research I'd need to do, but yeah, we should be able to summon each other, teach ours worlds, and push through, because that's a difficult game.
Yeah, should have a look at that. But that's going to do it for this week. Thank you to everyone at home who has either watched us on YouTube or listened. As again, you can send us an email at headsetabuse@hotmail.co.uk. Stay tuned to the Twitter account at headsetabuse, or the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/headsetabuse. We will have the audio version up as soon as possible. Thank you very much for joining me, Darren.
You're welcome, Mark.
Ali should hopefully be back next week if he's not still under with tooth stuff.
Yep.
But, until then, thank you very much, and we'll catch you again next week.